There's a reason why your routine keeps failing. So here's how the fuck you actually build one. The first thing you need to figure out is who do you actually want to be? Who do you actually want to become? What type of life do you want? Because keep in mind, your routine has to support that goal. Okay? If you don't wanna be some monk living in Tibet, then perhaps you wanna dial down the meditation from 5 hours per day to 10 minutes per day. Okay? So you need to think about who you're becoming so that your routine can be aligned to that. Okay? If you wanna be someone that's mentally sharp, well then you need meditation. If you wanna be someone that is in good shape physically, well then you have to go to the gym. If you want high testosterone levels, well you have to sleep well. And so then you have to incorporate these things into your routine based off where you wanna go and who you wanna be. Right? And that then, who you wanna be, who you wanna become, who you wanna walk around the earth as, becomes the why for your routine. So then, when you sit there in the morning, you just woken up and go, damn, need to do fucking meditation. It's clear in your mind why you're doing meditation. You're not just meditating. You're not just meditating to be present, no. You're meditating because you want to be a ruthless motherfucker that's mentally sharp, because you want to be better than everyone else, so you're gonna take every advantage you can. Okay? That's the sort of reasoning you need for your routine. And here's the other thing. Your routine should incorporate virtually, not necessarily all aspects of life, but a major chunk of them. Now the reason for this is so that you know that when you've done your routine, you're on track. You feel like a fucking winner, okay? When your routine is meditate, go to the gym, eat clean, work hard, depending on how you want to set your work goals. I'll get to that later. But what that means is you're in good shape, you're mentally sharp, and you get all your work done. Well, so now you can't fail. So now you have to be a winner. And then before you know it, you'll start walking around like, yeah, I got a 30-day meditation streak, got a 30-day gym streak, I done all my work tasks 30 days straight. I bet that motherfucker hasn't done that. I bet that motherfucker hasn't done that. And so you start moving with this new sense of confidence, with this new sense of self-belief. Because you know these people ain't meditating. You know these people ain't putting their work in the same way. You know, like, because everyone's cutting corners somewhere. So if you are the only motherfucker that ain't cutting corners, you're gonna start feeling like, actually, you know what? That motherfucker makes a tad bit more money than me, but I'm a better human being. Fuck that guy. You literally start to think like that. Now, before we even get into the actual routine, how to set one up, let's just real quick walk through what actual consistency is. Because I said like 30-day streaks. Now, consistency, generally, it's not about having perfect streaks. It's about increasing the amount of reps you're doing drastically. So it's not about never missing a day at the gym. Like, let's say, theoretically, like, let's say you're gonna work out 30 days of the month. Now, if you worked out 28 days of 30, you might say, well, I don't have the gym streak. Yeah, you don't, because you missed a day. But you still did 28 days of 30. And that is consistent. even if there's like 1 or 2 days that you missed. So missing days is not the end of the world. Losing streaks is not the end of the world, but you have to bounce back. Okay? Now, in order for you to start making this routine, you need to start with simplicity. You need to start with making it as easy as possible. Okay? You don't walk into the damn gym and expect to bench press 100 kg on a barbell the first day. Okay? Shit's just not gonna happen. Okay? So you need to start small, and you need to start in manageable chunks. So you effectively need to progressively overload the routine. Okay? Now, you want to align the routine to your goals, as I said earlier. But before you get to that point, there is an important concept to walk through. You need to set some form of habit to anchor the day. What do I mean by this? Well, it can be as simple as you wake up and the first thing you do every single damn morning is you hop in the shower. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that, but it needs to be something that you're already doing every single day. Now, let's say you're not doing that because you live like a peasant. Well, in that case, you want to start something. It can be as simple as stepping on the scale to check what you weigh, hopping in the shower, going outside. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you do it, and so that you can virtually guarantee that you're gonna do this one thing for the next 30 days. Because once you have that one thing, building the rest of the routine is gonna be 10x easier. But you need something first that's stable, that you can build on. Okay? Like, you're not gonna build a house on a fucking mountain that looks like this. Like, you can't fucking, well, you can build a house on that shit, but I digress. So simplicity is actually extremely important as well. And so once you have that one habit, don't make this shit complicated. Okay? The way I started doing this was literally wake up, shower, go outside, meditate. That's it. And now, as I said about the progressively overloading thing, when you start doing those things, don't go, well, shower, but like, don't go, I'm gonna be outside for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna meditate for 30 minutes. Even though if that's where you wanna get, even if that's ideal, quite frankly, that's retarded. Okay? You can't go from 0 to 100 overnight. And so, what you need to do is go like, no, I'll go outside for 3 minutes and I'll meditate for 3 minutes. And you might say, well, I'm not gonna get the health benefits if I do that. Yeah, you might not. But what you will get is you'll start having these pathways in your brain. Your brain is gonna get used to the idea. Okay, so we shower, we go outside. Okay, we meditate. As your brain's gonna get used to this pattern, this rhythm. And then you can start expanding on the times. But first, you need to get your brain used to the actual habits before you increase the difficulty of those habits. Now, simplicity is key. So, you need to eliminate confusion. Okay? You can't wake up in the morning and not know what you need to do. You need to be brutally clear. Also, again, simplicity is important, and don't make this shit complicated, and don't make it hard to do. You don't want to make decisions in this routine, essentially. You want to be like A, B, C, done, boom, out of the way. Then you can focus on the next steps. Okay, I do this, I do this, I do this. But you don't want to sit there and be like, should I now meditate or should I go outside? Like, don't switch this up. Don't switch the order no matter what, because that's gonna throw you off. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you'll be on your phone, you'll be scrolling TikTok, you'll be doing a bunch of dumb shit because you just switch the order and now your brain's thrown off. So you don't want to do that shit. And another principle, and this goes through especially in the beginning, you need to be able to do the routine on your worst day. Okay? So, like meditation, if you're starting out with it, maybe you consistently can do 5 minutes per day, maybe you can get up to 10 minutes per day. But what about the day when you're like just completely hammered, you're ridiculously tired, and now you need to meditate? Are you gonna be able to meditate for 10 minutes? Well, if that's in your routine, you're gonna have to, because you don't want to throw it off. And so you want to take into account, like really think back throughout like the past couple of weeks, maybe month, like what has been the roughest part, and then ask yourself, like, in that state, would I be able to do these steps in my routine? And if the answer to that is yes, well then you're chilling. If not, then you need to make it a bit easier, a bit simpler. Because the most important part is that you keep going through this process day in and day out. And if you can't do it on your worst day, well then how can you rely on yourself doing it no matter what? So make it as easy as you can to be consistent with it. So those are kind of the principles to do it by. So well, how do you actually start doing it? Well, the way I do it is to make a quick draft. Okay? And the way really that I see it is this. Do 3 steps for the morning routine, do 3 steps for the routine during the day, I do 3 steps for the evening routine. Okay? Now, if that's too complicated, drop it down to 1, whatever you need to start building somewhere. Now, the reason why I say 3 by 3 by 3 is so here's your day. Your morning routine is here, your daytime routine is this, your evening routine is this. The point of going through it like that is that when you're in the morning routine, the only thing in the world that you have to think about is the morning routine. When you're doing the daytime routine, that's the only thing you need to think about, and the same goes for the evening routine. Okay? So they're compartmentalized, which means that when you're working during the day, that's the only thing you have to focus on. You don't need to know what's going on in the morning. You don't need to know what's going on in the evening. You can just purely focus on executing. And that's where you want to be. Now, make it simple. And really, I want to highlight this. You can do 3 steps for each. So you're totaling like about 9 steps for your routine. Now, mind you, ideally what you want with this is that that's everything you need to improve your life on a daily basis. Meaning that your daytime routine probably is gonna be something like the 3 most important work tasks. Okay, even if you're working a 9 to 5, you can still do this shit, mind you. You can still set the intention, okay, what do I want to get done at work? I want to get this done. Okay, what do 2 other things do I want to get done? Okay, I want to get this done and this done. Like, what 3 things would increase my life the most? Then you want to work out, and then you want to make sure you eat properly. Generally, like if you're gonna have any habits during the day, any focus during the day, it's gonna be those 3. They should be non-negotiables. You need to work, you need to be in great shape, and you need to eat as if you're in great shape. Okay? And so the best way I've found to do this is starting out with the 3 by 3 by 3, and then gradually moving up to the 5x3. Also, you might ask, well, why 5x3? Now, this is a bit OCD, sure, but the point of it is that it gives the routine enough steps for you to kind of be in a flow state with it. If it's just 3, it's kind of short for your brain to adapt to what's going on. When you have 5 steps, your brain goes, yeah, okay, yeah, I get it, it's evening, sure, fine. But when it's 3, it's like, is it evening? It's kind of questioning it. But when you add more steps, it's, okay, fine. Yeah, let's go sleep. And also, because you're adding 5, what you can do, and I highly recommend you do this, is you have transition habits. So even now that I started recording this YouTube video, in my morning routine, there is a habit to start work, to start doing shit, to start posting content. Okay? And so that's something that actually helps you quite a lot, is you compartmentalize in the morning, the evening, and then at the end of each of those, you have a habit like start work. So that once you click that, like you really make the intention that the way you end the morning routine is by starting the daytime routine, so getting to work, or maybe it's working out, whatever, depends on how you want to go about it. Now, you might ask, well, if during the daytime I want to work, eat, train, well, what are some other things? Like, you said 5 fucking steps, like the fuck? Like, what are some other things you should include in your routine? And so, there are a couple of things. The main one, I'd say, well, there are 2. I'd say it's morning sunlight, if you can. Because what it does for you, especially if you get it up to like 15 minutes, you'll start noticing that you wake up naturally at the time when your alarm will go off. Now, granted, this happens also to some extent with just the alarm, but the effect of this is way stronger. And I just found that you feel way better in the morning, you sleep better, everything just gets better. Okay. So, morning sunlight, massive. Okay. Another thing that's pretty huge is meditation. And so what meditation does is it just makes your mind calmer. Okay, you're more focused, you're able to push away random thoughts, and so you're way sharper with making decisions. So essentially, you're just increasing the quality and the enjoyment of your life for the rest of the day if you meditate in the morning. So those are some kind of basic things. Okay. That's for the evening routine, obviously, like brush your teeth. Whatever. One important thing that I would always include in the evening routine is planning tomorrow. So you want to sit down and figure out, okay, what are the key moves for tomorrow? What do I need to get done? Generally, I only write down 3, and I'll get to that a bit later. Other than that, for your routine, you should have an alarm to go to bed. Okay, I don't give a fuck that you're 25, I don't give a fuck that you're 18, it doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna have an alarm on your phone to start going to bed. Because anchoring that bedtime is incredibly important so that you can get enough sleep, okay, so that you can wake up naturally, rested, before the alarm. Because if your sleep is messed up, well, now you're fighting an uphill battle for the rest of the goddamn day. Instead of, if you just got proper sleep, everything would fall into place almost automatically, because that's just how much energy you have. So you really need to put sleep first, okay? You can't skip out on sleep. So really, you want to build this routine around sleep to ensure that you get enough of it. Okay? And in order to do it, you need to be overestimating how much you sleep. Okay. Like, let's say you need 8 hours sleep and you allocate 8 hours to bed. Well, now you're just gonna be sleep deprived. Okay. Because you can't sleep 8 hours in an 8-hour block. Maybe you sleep 7. Maybe you sleep 6.5. But you certainly ain't gonna sleep 8. As you need to keep that in mind. So probably you need to do at least 9 hours and then go from there. Because if your sleep is right, everything's 100 times easier. And then the meditation ain't that hard, and going outside in the morning ain't that hard. And you just get this massive momentum and drive and willpower that you didn't have before. And so you got sleep, and then you got these different blocks. Here's the important thing. This is why the anchoring habits are so important. So you sleep, you wake up, what's the first thing you do? Okay, let's say it's going to the shower. Effectively, the reason why the whole system is built into 3 parts is so that the habits get stacked upon each other. So if you're gonna add a habit, where do you add that habit? Like, where's the easiest place to add it? Well, it's not gonna be some random time potentially throughout the day. No, it's gonna be like, let's say you wanna journal or you wanna read. Well, it's probably gonna be in the morning routine or in the evening routine. Why? Well, because you're already going to the shower, you're already meditating. So then adding it between one of those things, before or after, doesn't matter. But adding it kind of in the same context as going to the shower, as winding down, well, that's gonna make it easier for you to do. And also, like, when you look at your habit tracker on your phone, you go, okay, what is my evening routine? Okay, it's this. Ah, yeah, I'm reading as well. Gonna be way easier to actually do those habits. Now, that's kind of where you want to start, and you want to start stacking these habits. Again, don't go all out and make this too difficult. Okay, don't bite off more than you can chew. The main driver here has to be consistency. So look, even if you're making changes to the routine, like, you can experiment with different things. Okay, maybe you don't want to go outside 3 times per day like I do. Like, try different things, but make the changes small, okay? Like, keep the major chunk of the routine the same, so that when you make these little changes, you ain't completely destabilizing it. So you effectively still are getting the benefits of the routine, but you also can try out these new things. So that's really the way to do it. Another thing is just like the actual length of your routine. Like, my morning routine is pretty damn long right now, but it doesn't really matter because the sun rises quite early, so I get in the morning sunlight anyways. It's fine. Because right now my morning routine is about 90 minutes, which, like, you have to look at your routine and be like, well, can I get enough sleep before I need to go to work, school, whatever, if my morning routine is 90 minutes? And maybe the answer to that question is no. Well, then you have to adapt, okay? So you don't want to make the routine too long, okay? But you also don't want to make it like 5 minutes, because your mind doesn't have time to adapt to the fact that you're doing a routine. And so the benefits you then get out of it are less. So, just to recap how to actually set this bitch up. First, anchoring habit. Can be shower, something simple, something you do every day already. Then on top of that, you might add 2 habits. Some things you really want to do. Maybe you want to go outside, maybe you want to meditate. So you add those 2 on top of going to the shower. Key point, you make them short. You do like 3 minutes for each. Then you get to tick the box. Now if you want to do longer, do longer. But make the basics incredibly easy so that you maintain the pattern of shower, outside, meditate. The pattern is what's important. The consistency is what's important. Then once you've done that for, let's say, 7 days straight, you can be like, okay, I think I can do more. Then you add 2 minutes. Then you add 2 minutes to meditation. And that's how I started. Okay. That's how I even got to this 29-day meditation streak in the first place. I didn't start with 10 minutes once I started meditation again. No, I did like 5 minutes. I did the least amount of time I could do on my meditation app. Okay, and now in April I probably meditated for, I don't know, multiple hours. But that's because I started small. Another thing, keep saying another thing, but the point is, you start small. Now, ideally, and when you keep, like the goal with this routine, and when you keep reiterating this routine, is you gonna wanna think long term with it. Like you want it to be something that you can grow with. And this is partially why I said, like, who do you wanna become? Okay? Like, if you wanna be an entrepreneur, well, what type of routine do you imagine an entrepreneur having? Okay, let's say you do content. What type of routine do you imagine a content creator having? And so you want to think about that. And this routine then becomes something that you grow with. Okay? You get more subscribers, you get more hosts, you get more money, you got a better car, you get a better crib, you get everything you want. But the routine is there with you. It's like going to the gym. Okay? Bench press ain't fucking leaving. Okay? The incline press ain't fucking leaving. And so, no matter how successful you get, no matter how much you level up, the routine is still there. You still get to do the kind of basic habits. And those are the kind of fuel that allows you to get to the point where you're at right now. And so the routine is always there for you. No matter what the fuck you're going through. Okay, you can lose your business. Okay, you can get kicked out of school, whatever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you still got your meditation. You're still in great shape. You're still getting a shit ton of work done. So it's fine. You got something to fall back on. Because the worst thing you could fucking do is not only get kicked out of school, but also not have a fucking routine. So now you're just, well, you ain't got shit now. Okay, so you need a routine. And like ideally, you'll go to a new country, but a routine will be so ingrained into the way that you live, into the way that you go about life, that even in that hotel in South America, you'll still be meditating, you'll still be journaling, you'll still be going through these habits. Now, so you have to do about a routine for like 28 minutes. So another question is, well, what the fuck is my routine? Okay, so really my routine right now is just health maxing, and health max is specifically regarding like getting higher energy levels, higher testosterone, which is why I just work out all the time, but that's a side point. One of the core, okay, let's just start from the beginning. So, the fuck is my morning routine? Morning routine, shower. Why? Why do I shower first thing in the morning? Because when I used to wake up sleep deprived, probably even when I was doing like door-to-door sales, the way I would wake up and ensure that I actually got out of bed was wake up literally blindly, straight, walk into the shower, turn the shower on, chilling. Because then I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep after being in the fucking shower. So that's why the shower is there in the first place. Now then later on, when I was doing cold calling, I started realizing, wait, I need more energy. Like I need something to keep my head straight. Because I'm making all these calls, you got people screaming at you, calling a fucking retard, whatever the fuck. Okay? Standard sales shit. And so, okay, how do we keep our mind stable? Well, going outside helps me a bit with my energy levels. But then if I meditate, my mind is more stable, so okay, fuck it, we do that. And so I started doing that. And that's really the start of the morning routine. It's just 3 things, and that's why I said 3 things to you as well. It's just simple. Shower, outside, meditate. Now then you get into more intricate things, and look, I did probably those 3 core things for like half a month, if not more, before I started doing any other shit. Like before I even started doing an evening routine. So like, you don't need this expectation that you're not gonna get the routine right from the get-go. But you keep trying, you keep reiterating it, and at some point you land with something that you actually like, which is important as well. Like, make the routine something you want to do, something you actually enjoy, because then you'll stick to it. As weeks go by, and I realize the importance of gratitude again. Why? Because open-mindedness, so that you think more in terms of abundance, so that when something negative happens, let's say on the phone, let's say a customer yells at you, you then write in your journal, not that, man, why the fuck did this customer yell at me? No, you write, I'm grateful that this customer yelled at me, so that I get to figure out how I can do better in that situation, or because now I know how people actually act on the phone, or whatever the fuck you want to say. But you turn each negative into a positive through gratitude journaling. There is this quote that Napoleon Hill has. I'm not sure if it's in Think and Grow Rich, but it's something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, with every failure, with every heartache, with every setback, there is the seed of an equal or greater benefit. So no matter what negative thing happens in your life, it's gonna pay itself back with dividends as a positive thing. Okay, so that's why gratitude journal, because it makes you look at life way more optimistically, and it removes the downside from the negative things in your mind and flips them to upsides. Okay, so your quality of life improves massively. Now the last thing for my morning routine, because we're on a bulk right now, and because I want to get the calories in as quickly as possible, it's essentially breakfast combined with what I said earlier, which is start work. So, well, I can't show you because I'm recording on my phone, but essentially it's breakfast and eat the frog, so do the hardest task first. And the reason for that is so that you get the calories out of the way. But really the reason for why you want to start work in this way is so that it becomes a part of your morning routine. So you don't have morning routine and daytime routine like this, like separate 2 blocks. No. You ensure that once you're done with your habits like meditation, gratitude journaling, you immediately shift to work. So you want to cut the time here between these 2. Because if you don't do that, you'll get some dumbass idea. Well, I'll just go to the store, I'll just do this first, I'll just do this. No. You're gonna sit down and you're gonna fucking work. So that kind of just cuts the time between waking up or like getting done with your routine and actually doing the work that you need to be doing. Also, where does that put us? Also, what's the daytime routine? So, daytime routine. What you have first is the power list. Now, I might make a video on that. Jack Hopkins, credit where credit is due, actually came up, as far as I know, with the power list whole concept, so you can go check his video out on that. But the way I do it is a bit different. The main point is, what are the 3 most important things you need to do during that day? And you write those down in a list in your Apple Notes. That's how you roll. And so you attack the first one of those, eat the frog, so the hardest one of the tasks, you write them down first. And you want to get it done as quickly as possible. So that's the way you start it. Then, the next thing I got is gym. Okay, fucking crucial. You gotta be in good health. You gotta be in good shape for like 5 million different reasons. Now, combined with that, of course, you need to eat properly. Now, the way I do the eating in my routine is I have alarms on my phone. Right now it's at 12, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. with 3-hour windows because it's just, well, it's aesthetic and it kind of fits my rhythm. And so I have my eating times on my phone so that I drop what I'm doing and just go grab food. Because I want to prioritize that. And then in my routine, I just have a checkbox that is, okay, did you hit your calories today? Yes or no? Once I'm done with work, what I do is I just reset the kind of the workspace. Like especially, and again, this is something I did when I was doing cold calling. So I get done with cold calling and I reset the space I'm in. Why? Well, because you're telling your brain, look, we're done with work. You did the 3 tasks, okay? You made X amount of calls. Now let's reset the space and call this part of the day done. Now we can do other things. Okay, maybe you want to go outside for 15 minutes, which is something I also have in my daytime routine. But all in all, you kind of get this complete package to where you're taking care of this, okay, but you also take care of work. You work out, your place is clean, okay? So you're not living like a slob anymore, you're actually being like a decent fucking human being. Now, when it hits 9 p.m, here we go. That's when you switch and go, okay, bedtime. Now, right now, what the routine is, because I want to get outside for 45 minutes per day, in my experience, that just gives you more energy throughout the day. So, when it hits 9 p.m, immediately out of the door, go on a 15-minute walk, get back in, shower, like I guess you need to fucking brush your teeth. Then I stretch. Now you might ask, why do you stretch? Because I don't know anyone that stretches. So this is a thing. Like years ago, my posture used to be fucking whack. And so what did I do for it? Well, I started stretching. And not even long, like maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes every evening. And that's just something that stuck with me. And because of that, it's ingrained essentially in my brain that, okay, when you stretch, you're about to go sleep. So that's why I do it. Okay? Of course, it still helps. And right now, the way I do stretching is 5-minute timer. And you just do really what you want. Like if you feel like your quads are tight, well, then you stretch those. If it's your neck, then you stretch your neck. But just make sure to stretch for 5 minutes. Now, once I'm done with that, I'll write tomorrow's list. Okay? Tomorrow's power list. Tomorrow's 3 key needle movers. I'll write those down. And then the last task is charge phone other side. So, I don't want to look at my phone when I sleep. I don't want the phone near me when I sleep. So what I do is I have this habit that I need to plug my phone in so that I make sure that, okay, my phone is ready to go in the morning when I need to do shit. But also it's on the other side of the room. And then that's kind of final mental check, like you do this and okay, boom. The routine is done. Now, generally it's done. Now the exception here, and this is something I highly recommend, is when you're falling asleep, you read. Okay? Because you get into the habit of reading every single day, but you also fall asleep faster. So it's really a win-win. And like, if you're like a lot of people, but I don't have time to read. Yeah, well, just read before you fall asleep. Like, it's not gonna take you longer to fall asleep. So, in that sense, like, if you wanna get into reading, I highly recommend you just do it, like, in bed. Okay? Like, if you can, get a damn Kindle, read on this shit. But if you can't do that, like, because those are like $200 or something. If you can't do that, get like the Kindle app on your phone. read on your phone, put the brightness as low as you can. Maybe you wanna go into the color filters, put your phone on red to reduce the blue light, reduce the white point maybe, to drop the brightness of the screen. Like there are all these hacks you can do, like obviously you want night light on your phone. But those are just things you wanna do and you can do to sleep better. So that's essentially the routine that I'm running with right now. And that's how I got to this point where my routine is, you could say, complex. Now, I don't know a whole lot of people who are that locked in on a routine as I am right now. And so it just speaks volumes to how you can start with something small, just go to the shower, then start building on top of that, build on top of that. And now all of a sudden you're chilling and you're in the best shape of your life. Everything is just going like this. It's not always gonna be easy, it's not always gonna be fun. But what you will find is that when you stick to a routine for a long period of time, you'll actually start to enjoy it. And it becomes a part of who you are, and it becomes a part of who you live, and you actually look forward to it. That's all for me today. I'll catch you in the next one.